I'm here with Calum from the National Soccer Network, and we are going to be previewing the March 19th U.S. Open Cup match at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Tennessee Tempo FC, who is, in my opinion, one of the better run semi-pro clubs, versus Chattanooga Red Wolves SC, a USL 1 versus a UPSL, which is Tennessee Tempo. So Tennessee Tempo automatically qualified, didn't have to play any of the qualifying matches for U.S. Open Cup. In fall, they fell to Kalonji in Pens, Kalonji profile that we had mentioned earlier, in the round of 32 in their UPSL season. And then in the spring, the one prior, they had actually gotten to the national Final Four. I actually watched them there. Rare time I actually saw a semi-pro team from the South be able to play. And they won it all. They beat LA 10 FC, which was a huge upset, at least over here. We're obviously biased being in the LA area, but I'll tell you right now, everybody thought, even neutrals thought LA 10 was taking that at home. Huge to get a 1-0 win, lift some silverware, and qualify for this. No qualifying needed. Consistently in U.S. Open Cup qualifying, I just think they're a really well-run club. And one of the things that stuck out to me when I was doing research for this, their Instagram they had posted, they're one of the few teams I've seen, especially UPSL, they're doing a full preseason camp for the U.S. Open Cup match. I don't think they have matches till a little bit after. I could be wrong with that. They're one of the UPSL teams that might not have a ton scheduled as of now, but they have a full camp that they're calling their U.S. Open Cup camp. So I just thought that was really cool, especially for a semi-pro team. But yeah, what are some of your thoughts? I know you've watched them a little bit more and actually know a little bit more on the tactics.
Yeah, I know their manager decently well. So he's Kwame is a very good dude when it comes to their tactic side of things. I mean, they're going to distribute the ball around the midfield extremely well. You're always nearly going to have the ball at the top of the box without fail. I don't know how they do it, but they do. And if they don't do that, they're playing through balls in to Harrison Watts. They're putting in crosses. They're a very good team on the counter attack as well. Harrison Watts is the big one for them. He scores double-digit goals all the time. He's an absolute unit, and I mean that in the nicest way possible because he is ridiculously strong and bodying off defenders, and he somehow still manages to be really technical with the ball at his feet. Their most famous player is Dominic Aduro because he used to be a Manchester City signing who scored the only goal in extra time against LA 10 to win them the national championship last year. He orchestrates the midfield very well. Their back line is decently solid, and when they're not solid, they have good goalkeeping depth to support them. And this is definitely where I think there could be an upset potential. Their preseason schedule, they were playing pretty decent NIA and D2, D3 schools like Cumberland. I know because we tried to recruit them to our Chattanooga Challenge tournament for NSN, and they were like, I'm sorry, man, we got 6 games to prepare for this and get ourselves ready to be on the professional level. I think it's good preparation on their part. They brought back most of their roster. For the Southeast perspective, at least, I wouldn't say it was an upset over at LA 10 because they eradicate most of the teams they play. The Kentucky-Tennessee Conference, other than Southern Indiana, who are taking a bit of a depletion this year, which you might talk about in another episode, they massacre everyone. I mean, the closest teams to them is the Chattanooga Kai Storms, who nick some of the Red Wolves academy and pro players, and they still win by 3 goals.
I think it's a really interesting matchup because, like you had said, very well defended team or a defensively with the midfield to the center backs. And so was Chattanooga last year. I mean, them and Knoxville fittingly were the top 2 teams in the standings. Both were just unreal defensively. A lot of that's due to goalkeeping and stuff like that, but the back lines are not shabby either. So moving on to Chattanooga Red Wolves, finished second in USL last year. They were upset by Portland Hearts of Pine. Hindsight, no real shame in that, but still is an upset of 2 versus 7. So they lost production in guys like Declan Waters. We were talking about him off camera, the Irishman. And guys like Jackson was recalled on loan. But they reloaded really well, in my opinion, and we had talked about this in the Greenville. Both teams it's a lot of roster retention. A lot of the key players. Yeah, you're obviously going to lose a guy to a promotion or another team that can pay more, something like that. But the difference is they were actually very good last year, the upset aside. Again, no shame in losing to that Hearts team, especially with now looking at the talent and how they've retained. They reloaded well, though, for a team that retained a lot of their guys. Got a guy, Mensa, out of Greenville, one of the few bright spots for Greenville last year. beast. And just overall, last year, I think they were the most fascinating US Open Cup run. So they start off on the road, one of the rare on the road for a pro team, go all the way up to New Jersey and tie 2-2, win 4-2 on pens against New Jersey Alliance. And then they are on the road again, but at Chattanooga FC, a team we had just previewed, 1-1, 5-4 in pens.
And they walk into Finley Stadium, but they have 2,500 fans supporting them against 10,000, and they win. And they
Yep.
plant a flag at midfield. Unbelievable
As you
stuff.
should. As an Ohio State fan, I'm not the biggest fan of that, but
Oh, oh.
we'll trauma dump that another day. And then again, you're going on the road. Like, this is not a local, oh yeah, you just got to go down to Florida or something like that from Tennessee. Then they go on the road to Las Vegas Lights, a USL championship team, 2-2, 4-3 in pens again. And then they get drawn into the MLS teams, still put up a great showing, 1-0 loss on the road to Nashville SC, an MLS side. So just overall, really fascinating team. I'm wondering your thoughts on Chattanooga. They're a team I'm very familiar with. Never actually got out to watch them in a game. Really tough place to get to, and I was more in Knoxville area. But yeah, just what are some of your thoughts on the matchup in Chattanooga?
Scott McKenzie has worked wonders there.
My coach of the year last year. That was my pick for the regular season.
We really thought they were just going to be a park the bus, hope and pray team. And well, I mean, they still did put many numbers behind the ball. They were really quick and efficient in the attack, which is something we did not prepare for. That's, I think, the difference. Tempo have good goalkeeping depth, but the Red Wolves are going to be very, very good in defense. They're going to be very organized and disciplined, and that's helped them challenge some of these higher level teams. You're bringing back Omar Hernandez, Pedro Hernandez as well, who's one of their top goal scorers. Rob Mensah used to play for the Red Wolves a couple years ago before he went to Greenville, if you didn't know that. And he just always gets himself in really good positions. Now, I won't say I'm the highest on him. I think there are better strikers around the league, but he's definitely good talent to have. They brought back Aaron Lombardi as well. Jason Smith is the reigning Golden Glove winner of USL 1. Not
Quality.
only a great guy,
Yeah.
but just quality in front goal. Because if they are leaky some days, he's going to come up clutch. And I think that's definitely going to help, especially against Harrison Watts, who's going to be trying to bag in as many goals as he can against him. Because Watts, to be honest, in my opinion, is someone who probably deserves to go professional. But we'll see about that. The only downside to the Red Wolves, in my opinion, is they're running it back with a lot of USL 2 depth. Because of the owner situation with Bob Martino, their USL 2 side is in Utah.
I know.
Really so they have recruited players from all across the U.S. that have ended up playing on that team in Utah. What the heck? Like Park City or something like that.
And the fact it's Park City too, it's not even like Provo or Salt Lake City or something. It's Park City. Like I'm pretty sure Park City. I'm not a Utah geography whiz here, but I'm pretty sure it is like off to the side a lot. It's not in the main area.
To my knowledge, it could be the Salt Flats.
Yeah,
they just put a field down there. I don't know, but that is how they bringing a lot of players back. I think it was 11 initially before even some of the new signings. It's just you're trying to fill in gaps. We've talked about a lot of teams have a lot of good young talent, and you just don't really know with the Red Wolves. This is a run it back, see how well you can do again, and maybe make a good run in the playoffs. Because they've struggled, I think, to get over that playoff hump. Even in USL 1, when they were there. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking for some reason like North Carolina FC when they jumped up. Of course, they're still in USL League.
Similar vibes, though. Like
in 2022, when they made the final, I mean, even then you get bad luck. You lose to Tormenta, and they haven't been able to make a really consistent run since then. Yeah. So I definitely think tactically they'll be able to hold off some of the tempo strengths, but how well is the question. I mean, you're playing Nashville at Nashville and doing great. You also almost lost to the New Jersey Alliance.
It's just such a confusing team, and I mean, it's exemplified from last year. It's, you have everything, maybe not the attack you'd like ideally, but defense wins championships. I think we saw that last year with Knoxville.
I would say the Red Wolves specifically, most people predicted them to finish near bottom or bottom of the USL 1 last year because of the investment in the team. You compare them to Chattanooga FC, their neighbors. they're not getting as much. I mean, you have unsubstantiated rumors all the time about, oh, Bob Montreal is going to pull out the funding. Oh, they're going to leave. But then there is legitimate stuff like the stadium development is delayed, similar to the Tormenta, and we saw what happened with them. So,
Yeah,
but well, for the resources that they have, they've built something great. And they've started to really grow their fan base for it to be sustainable. And who would have thought Chattanooga would be the city where you can sustain two professional soccer teams?
it's crazy,
So
man. Props to
they
them.
they
Yeah.
yeah, they definitely I think have a lot going for them. Not only into the League One season, but to the Open Cup. I could definitely see them making a run again. But this game, I might be one of the hardest matchups.
So I'm real, like you've almost kind of convinced me, and even just me talking through it, as it's happened with a lot of these predictions. I think I'd lean right now. I'd be very surprised if this is high scoring. 1-1, even a 2-1 if somebody wins in regulation or extra time would be the most I could see. Don't really see more than 3 goals total being scored in this game. I'd say it's a 1 or 2 goal kind of game. I think I'm gonna pick tempo here. I think tempo holds
Ooh.
on. I mean, shoot, might as well say just because it's in style from last year. Tempo and pens. I think the Chattanooga may have used all their pen luck slash skill last year. But again, I'm saying that it's always tough when you got Smith in goal to lose a penalty shootout. For some reason, I'm just feeling it. Maybe the better prediction is extra time. I think Tempo just kind of finds one counter. They do something and get by. But I think it's Tempo like 55-45 would be my prediction. Not score wise, obviously,
Oh
percentage
my word,
wise.
that's what I say.
That would be
Um,
electric. Yeah.
yeah. I think when the Red Bulls players prayed to God last year, he granted a lot of those prayers in the Open Cup. And by the time they got to the USO one, he was like, "All right, you had a good season. Now you got to go back again." Um, we'll see if their luck can continue. I mean, they might want, like from an organizational standpoint, to have some of that luck more on the league side. But hey, I'm going to go with Red Wolves. I want to Chattanooga. I do think. Well, I did predict Kalonji will win, but another Chattanooga derby would be electric for the sport. I just think the Red Wolves are so disciplined that the tempo, even though they still have star signings, they've weakened a little bit from this past fall season to the spring when they won the national championship. And I think they'll keep it close. I think it's the easiest prediction ever to say this is going to extra time,
Gotcha.
but
Okay.
extra time or penalties, don't know. But the Red Wolves are going to squeak it out.
There we go. All right. We finally disagree on one fully.
Hey,
There we go. I guess we're both leaning. So yeah, that's been our preview. This will be the last one that I do with Calum from National Soccer Network. So thank you so much for coming on.
oh, thank you for
Um,
having me. It's a pleasure to talk the Open Cup.
yeah, and we'll definitely be doing work together in the future. Well, you'll definitely see both of us um, doing some collabs or something like that in the future. But yeah, that's been our preview. So this is the last one. It would be Tennessee Tempo FC versus Chattanooga Red Wolves SC. Such a long name. I always forget the SC too. 8 p.m. Eastern on March 19th.